Hello and welcome to another video. This is the fourth video of my YouTube series on building a garden room. I'm covering the EPDM rubber roof, soffit and fascia detail. So if you watch this video to the end, you'll get an idea of how I did it and how you can do it yourself. So after hauling the 90-ish kilo piece of rubber onto the roof, one of the first jobs, unraveling it and laying it flat on the roof. This is just me going around and checking for any burrs. A last final check on the edge and just rolling it back. I was planning to actually stick it down this day, but there was a turn in the weather. So as you can see here, I just had to lay it flat and hope for the best. It started to rain, so not ideal conditions for sticking down the rubber roof. And then I attempted to stick down the rubber roof again. So first step of the process is rolling it back to the middle as tight as you can. It's quite difficult to do on your own, this size piece of rubber. It's a 35 square meter piece of rubber. And yeah, just rolling it back to the middle, sweeping off all the excess dust, and then it started to rain. So roll it all back this side, let the rubber settle and leave it for another day. You can see my footprints there, the rain finally stopped. So when I got a break in the weather, I decided to attempt to tackle it again. And then yeah, process is the same. Just roll it back to the middle of the roof, just so you've got somewhere to stand and somewhere to actually layer the PVA glue on. So this is me just rollering it on. Basically you just want to do it less than a meter at a time because you need to step back over, sticking it down and then brushing out any air bubbles as you go. You can use contact adhesive on the edges. I chose not to, having watched multiple videos online. Lots of people were just using the trims to hold it down because it's mechanically fixed all the way around. I decided I would go for that option. So after doing the first side, you just repeat the process, go on the other side, roll it back to the middle till you get to that tacky point, and yeah, just roller it on. Using the paint roller and the pole was a dream for this job. So once I got all the roof stuck down, I decided to put some bits of timber on the edges just to keep contact and prevent any wind lift whilst the glue goes off. It's quite a hot day. This day it was probably about 25, 26 degrees, and also with it being black, it gets quite hot. It's just me going around doing a final inspection, see if there's any further air bubbles, and just sweeping off all the excess leaves, bird poo, anything really. So you can see where I'm currently stood, there's like a thicker piece of rubber. That's one of the factory joins in the EPDM. So it's around about 3 millimeters thick there. So it does look like an air bubble, but I assure you it's not. It's just a thick piece of rubber. You just got to make sure this runs with your fall. So I'm currently stood at the front of the roof there, and the fall slopes towards the back. So it could act like a wall, preventing any water running off your roof. So it's best practice to have this running front to back. So before I put on the edge trims of the EPDM roof, I need to do the soffit, because it goes soffit, fascia, and then the EPDM roof trims. So this is just me preparing the tongue and groove pine soffit. It's already been primed. I'm just sanding off all the residue because it's been sat around for a while. So you can see here there's a tongue on one side and a small chamfer, and then the other side you have, the other edge you have the groove. So they're pretty straight pieces, but they're going to be cut down. I've just painted them with a light anthracite. It's a Rust-Oleum, I believe is how you say it. Rust-Oleum paint that I got from B&Q. It's outside. It's meant for outside. It can paint any surfaces, and it does dry quite almost plasticky to feel. So it's giving them a nice satin finish all the way around, and this is where I'm going to be putting them. So I've had to extend my roof trims, so literally fix two pieces of 3x2 through one another on a ladder frame, and then fix this to the building. This runs around two edges, and then the other two edges are just out by the thickness of a 6x2, so 2 inches or 50 millimeters. So it's just me painting them. Although the paint's described as an anthracite, it's not as dark as what you would typically find anthracite windows and doors in. I believe that's like RAL 7011 or RAL 7014, which is the common like dark grey you see on everyone's builds. But yeah, as you can see here, there's two pieces of 3x2 fixed together just to create that fascia trim, just so I've got fixing points all the way around. One piece of 3x2 looked a bit piddly on the side, and these are just the tools I'm using. So I've got a Milwaukee 18 gauge brad nailer with a dewalt battery converter on it, and I've also got the Makita 10 inch double bevel sliding miter saw, the brushed one. It's loaded with 54mm 18 gauge brads, stainless steel ones. I'll just fire them into and through the soffit. So you can see here the setup. I've got a couple of trestles and scaffolding boards across them, just so I can reach up. It's where the building's almost 2.5 meters tall. It's not ideal working off ladders, so I set up a few scaffolding boards across my trestles, and yeah, these are all my fixing points that I have. So I'm going to fix brads at the front and also at the rear of each of those 3x2s. So just measuring each piece, I decided to run them towards the building and setting up a stop block. So I set the stop block at around 30 centimeters, which was the size of the soffit. There was a bit of bend in the 3x2s in the nature of the way I did the ladder frame, just to make it a bit easier on myself fixing it together and running cables if I needed to make any adjustments to the spotlights. But yeah, this is me just putting all those tongue and groove pieces, taking off any broken bits because these were sat around for a while. It's all reclaimed tongue and groove soffit, so a lot of it was covered in mud, so I needed to get a lot of the mud off before painting them. There's a few broken bits in there as well, but yeah, this is all the bits that I needed, and here's me fixing them. So I'm just putting a series of brads at the front and the back, but also fishing in the tongue and groove. So you can see all the cables that I have hanging down. These are all for the spotlights. I'm running 5 downlights in this section. They're IP rated for outside, although they won't be in direct contact with the weather, and most of the bad weather seems to come from behind the building. You definitely need to be getting IP rated downlights, otherwise you're going to be having some issues because electrics and water don't play well together. So once I've got the front all fixed on, you can sort of see the bends in the 3x2, but this isn't anything to worry about because we've got a Capit fascia board going over the front of it, which is sort of like a large L, which will cover all these cuts. So it's me just fixing on all the side. These bits are slightly longer. These bits are around 45 centimeters, but there's no downlights going in this section. It's just for a little bit of space around the side, and there's also going to be a water buck here to collect all the rainwater from the roof, or as much of it as I can. So there's a little bit left. I need to do a sliver, but on this corner I'm doing the return of the Capit fascia board as well. So that covers any issues that I have here with the finish. So once all these bits were on, you can see here that I've got them running down two edges of the building, all the soffit, and that's that anthracite pine. Next stage of the process was to get the Capit fascia board on. So it comes in 5 meter lengths. Annoyingly, I needed to order 3 bits, so I decided to put it down the 3 sides of the building anyway. So I've got a 5 meter bit in the middle, and then I've cut off 2 sections either side. Then I'll do 2 joining strips. So once those are on, the roof trims go on. They're mechanically fixed through. Again, it's just with poly top nails, but these ones are slightly larger than what I've used in the Capit fascia board. So you can see the finish on the front here, the contrast between the darker anthracite and the lighter anthracite as it just runs across the front of the building. Quite a nice finish between the two, and on the front it's going to be a lighter grey, matching that anthracite cladding. So you can see the front's all finished here, it's just the sides to do. So again, process is the same. I'm just putting in those smaller poly top nails, so those are the 35mm ones down the length of the board. Annoyingly, my camera is all over the place here. I'm trying to balance it on the fence with a tripod and try record. So you can see the L bracket of the fascia just covers all those cut edges, and then the trim goes over the top to hold down the EPDM roof. The corner piece hasn't been glued on to the front to allow for expansion and contraction. You can only see that gap from this angle. From the front it looks very tight like that. And then this is the finished product. So this is it wrapping around the building. Just need to put a little bit of trim here just to cover that join where it changes angle to run down the building. So just 300mm pieces on the front and then 450 on the side. And this is the finish from the top. So you can see there's an edge on 3 sides, and there's no edge on the back, which is where the gutter will be, and that's where the fall is. So currently the rainwater just goes off back of the building down in between that gap on my side of the fence. If you got this far in the video, thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This is how I went about fitting the EPDM rubber roof, soffit, fascia, and also the profile trims for the EPDM rubber roof. So you can see the finish here. I'm very happy with it. It's pretty much immaculate all the way around with a fall towards the back. The only thing left to do on there is the gutter trim. I'm waiting on the gutter to arrive, but this next on the jobs list, I'll be moving inside, completing the first fix electrics, second fix electrics, and also you'll see a bit of me fitting laminate flooring and creating and fitting skirting boards. So it's in the end game now. If you would like to see any of the previous videos on how I got to this stage, they should all be linked below. I've done a series of videos, and thank you again for watching.